Ever felt like dealerships have all the negotiating power when negotiating a new car deal? That's because they do. That is, unless you have this one number, invoice price. If you don't know that, you can't negotiate confidently. Most people, including myself when I started out, negotiate the wrong way. They negotiate from the MSRP down. You should be negotiating from the invoice price up. And I'm going to show you how to find invoice price for free. That is the best part. So first up, how do we get free invoice pricing? We're going to go to caredge.com/thecarguyonline. And yes, that is my ugly mug there. I've partnered up with CarEdge. This is a free service. The only thing you have to provide them is your email address, which I think is completely fair to get invoice pricing. I'm going to show you the deal that I got, detail out how I went through this. And their invoice pricing is really good. It's really close to what I found at the dealer. So I think it's just a huge benefit when you're negotiating. So in this example, I'm going to show you this. The difference between this, which is the MSRP price on the sticker of the car that I just bought, and we're going to walk through that exact car as an example here to show you how to work this. We're going to plug in the make, which I had just purchased this Volkswagen Atlas, click get invoice price. Now, this is important. The next step is really trying to find the trim because you need to know the trim and the options to narrow this down. Most dealerships will have a sticker that you can actually look at and find the option and really narrow that down and get it very close to what they have here. Now, in my case, I actually originally started looking at the 2.0 SE, the non-technology package, and I was looking around the $36,000 price range. Turns out that they didn't have any SEs for me, so I had to jump up to the technology package because it was a leftover 2024. So whatever this value is for you, you're going to take this invoice price, and now that is going to be your starting point. In addition to that, a lot of manufacturers now have rebates. You're going to take the invoice and subtract any manufacturer rebates. Another tip, if you are looking at previous model year, you'll see this little link up here, 2024 or 2025. So I just click 2024 just to be consistent in this example. It says the MSRP price here is $42,100. My MSRP was a little bit higher. I have 4Motion and some other features that probably aren't listed in this MSRP. With some level of confidence, I can say that this $40,374 is close to the invoice price, and I just have to kind of adjust what I think the true invoice price is of the vehicle I'm looking at, given the options it has. In my case, I have a 2024 that I'm looking at. I can either take 1.9% APR for 60 months or $3,500 customer bonus. So I took the $3,500 customer bonus. So now I've got $40,374 minus the $3,500 and then any more wiggle room that I can find in this deal. Now I have confidence. So now I can reach out to the dealer and actually start figuring out which dealer is going to work with me and get close to this invoice price. And that's important. That's the next step. And not all dealers are going to give you invoice, and they're not all going to work with you the same. So in my case, I just reached out to 3 or 4 dealers, all different directions in my area, and I found the one that felt the most willing to work with me and get close to this price. So I'm going to click browse here. You can use cars.com or other websites as well. You can see that these vehicles are priced well above what you see as the invoice price. Now you really have 2 options. If you want the faster option, you call the dealerships that are around you, really quickly go through something like I have here on the screen in this email. The subject will be the vehicle that you're looking to buy with the year. I'm considering purchasing your 2024 VW Atlas, the stock number. It's important to at least put the stock number or VIN in there, and then they can also verify if it's in stock. I usually start out with, I see the list price is $46,800 or whatever the list price is. However, this is well above my budget. Would you consider discounting the vehicle? I was working with X dealership and they are willing to get close to invoice pricing, but I would rather work with you because you're closer to my location. There's all sorts of ways you can make them feel like they are a little bit special or they have some reason why you want to work with them, but that they're competing with someone that already has a lower price than them. So they really have an option at this point. They can either say, no, we're not going to get anywhere close to invoice pricing, or they say, yes, absolutely, we can work with you. I guarantee we can beat their price. In my case, the dealership told me on the phone, I guarantee you whatever price you find anywhere else, we will beat it. That was their motivating statement. And that's what I knew, that I was going to go to that dealer and I was going to save a lot of time because they were motivated to sell. When you're calling around to these different dealerships or emailing them, I noticed something immediately, and this saves you a lot of time. In Boulder, Colorado, you might know that it's a very wealthy area. So if I compare what was in Boulder to what was in Greeley, Colorado, in Greeley, I start to see immediately on their website dealer discounts without even negotiating. So where it might be a lot of work and take 30 minutes, 45 minutes to get Boulder to come down to that price, I can just immediately get that in another location. That's really the key indicator that you're looking for at this stage of the deal is motivation or desperation. Now, the next thing you're going to do is test drive the car and see if you like it. It's important on the test drive. Don't act too excited about the car. Don't say things like, I love it. This is amazing. It rides awesome. Just sort of deadpan everything. Keep a straight face. Hide your emotions. Chances are you're going to really enjoy the car and like the car, but ask questions that are, maybe pointing out things that you don't like about the car or that are kind of a downside to the car. And you want to give that salesman a feel that it's going to be a little bit of a hard sell. You don't want to make this super easy on them. Now, after the test drive, they're going to want to come sit down with you and work up numbers. Don't get into a back and forth with monthly payments. Don't tell them whether you're financing, paying cash. Just say, I'm not sure yet. To any question they ask, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I need to talk to my wife about it. Whatever excuse you can come up with to not be committal, keep moving that process down the road. And you really want to build rapport while using some of their time. Now, when you sit down, you're generally going to want to know this number. You're going to want to know your target discount, and you're going to want to know what rebates you have, and you are going to want to know a value that you want to present to them, because they're going to ask you, what would make you purchase this today? And you have to have that value in your head calculated by the time you sit down. That's why this invoice price, to me, is so important. It gives you that confidence where I feel good about the purchase, and they're still going to make money. Dealerships are generally not going to just give cars away unless they're getting huge rebates from manufacturers. So you have to understand that they're going to make some money, but you have to be able to live with that deal. Now, after you give them the value that you want to pay for the vehicle, they're generally going to get up, walk to the sales manager, come back with another value that's probably much higher than the value that you're looking to spend on this car. If you're like me and you like to just speed this process up, I usually say, thanks for asking. I really appreciate it. I shake their hand and I say, we're just going to think about it and we're going to go look at some other vehicles. And I stand up and I start to walk out. This is where all of your leverage is created, with your feet. If you're willing to leave the dealership, but you're still respectful and someone they want to work with, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to let you walk because they don't need to lower the price, or they're going to ask you if there's anything else that can be done to make this deal happen. And that's when you come back to that same price and say, look, if you can do this and have your out the door price ready, that's going to be a handshake right there. And that's typically when the sales manager is going to step in, or someone else is going to step in and act like they're the only one that can make this great deal for you. And they're going to either say yes or no. If they say no, your next best leverage point is to walk. By the time I either get to my car or I'm leaving the parking lot, they're calling me on the phone already and they're asking me to come back. Now, going back to the deal example that I had, they had my Atlas, the one I purchased, listed for $41,140. The MSRP says it was $47,390. So you take the $41,140 and then I subtract the $3,500 customer bonus cash. Now, in my case, that put me around $37,640, but I know that there's a difference between what they're listing the vehicle for and invoice price. So I ended up offering them right around $36,000 for this. And they accepted my offer just by asking and just by knowing the numbers. And that's why this is so valuable, to know your numbers, know what buffer they have in the invoice price versus the MSRP price. And it gives you all the confidence in the world without really feeling like you're haggling that much. I'd like to thank CarEdge for sponsoring this video. This is the first one that I actually think is somewhat of a value to you when you view this video. I'm personally going to use this, and you can also use Edmunds. They have new car pricing where you can drill down to almost every option, but I feel like it does take a little bit longer to get to that suggested true market value price. They don't call it invoice pricing on Edmunds. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get to the questions. I try to answer most legitimate questions in my videos. Thanks for watching.